Can you hear me? Hello? Rifan. Hello?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me, no?
Yeah, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's start, no? Already we are late, right? Yes, before we move to the things, right, there are some instructions. Today also we are late. You have to find the reason which you are in, right? You know that your timetable, we have lectures 8:30 today, isn't it? Huh? I already sent the link, but I don't know, right? So you have to be very careful with these things as well. And the second one is you know that you are in the second year first semester. Also, you completed your first year first semester as well as the second semester. You know that your total marks, the final examination marks only for the 65, the balance 35 you have to earn through your assignments. Also, you know that the assignment also we have 3 presentation, mid-semester examination, as well as the take-home assignment. If it is possible, once you come to university physical, if we have the physical mode of lectures, we can have the presentation. Otherwise, the Zoom presentation will be, I think, it's very difficult. We have to find another mechanism for the assignment. Anyhow, we will have 3 assignments for 35 marks. Only the 65 marks will be provided for your end semester examination, right? And also, yes, with this one, also image 8:55. Our scheduled time is 8:30, but today lectures also firstly assignment with today also I checked my LMS, but my subject is not there, right? Once I clarified with the ICT people, I will upload the link in your LMS, right? Then you need to depend on your app, right? Right. This is your assignment. Is it clear? Can you visible this one? Huh? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The title is, the question is, Sri Lanka is experiencing a deficit in the trade balance after the introduction of an open economy. Analyzes the reason for the continuous deficit of the trade balance and put forward the strategies to mitigate the deficit of the trade balance from your point of view. Right? I assume you are the economist, right? Continuously we are experiencing trade balance deficit. You have to find out the reason for the continuous trade balance, and also you are the economist now. You have to suggest some of the strategies to reduce the or to eliminate the trade deficit, right? For that one, there are some guidelines, submission guidelines. The assignment should be written in handwriting, right, rather than copy and paste. The marks not will be provided for the typed assignment, right? Therefore, you have to be very careful. The page limit for the assignment is 5 to 6 pages. Then only I can read and correct the assignments. If once I allow to type the assignments, simply you can copy the things and paste, right? Therefore, you have to limit the page of 5 to 6 pages. Also, you have to write in your hand. And the third one is the assignment should be submitted before the deadline, right? Deadline is the deadline. It is not entertained after the deadline. And direct copying from the internet or other sources will be considered as plagiarism and will not be considered for your final assignment marks. Therefore, you have to read the sources, right? References you have to read and you have to write in your own words, right? And the last one is the references should be properly written using the APA method, right? These are the guidelines to submit your assignment, and also the deadline or last date for the assignment is May 31st this month, right? First you copy this one. Today I checked there is no LMS page for me. I clarify with ICT people and rectify and uploaded this assignment. Anyhow, you can take this screenshot of, you can try to keep with you this one, right? And now let's move to the things. Right. For the next 45 hours, no? 3 credit subject, 45 hours. We have to learn about the introduction to macroeconomics. Under this introduction to macroeconomics, we have to clarify macro and micro. I think in your first semester, you learned the microeconomics. Just we introduced the microeconomics here, and we will move to the macroeconomics. And the second chapter is the fundamental of classical macro system. Under that one, we have to look classical theory of output and employment, right? Then third one is the national income accounting. Under the national income accounting, we have to learn about the production method, income method, expenditure method, as well as the some concept related with the national income. And the next one is the ISLM curve. Under the ISLM curve, here we have to learn about what is IS, what is LM, and ISLM equilibrium. Here IS means product market equilibrium. Please mute your mic. 118, 118, 118, please mute your mic. Right. Here the IS means product market equilibrium, and LM means money market equilibrium. Here how money market equilibrium and product market equilibrium determine the interest rate and the income of an economy. We have to look deeply. And the chapter 5 is determination of the level of output and income. Here, this is the Keynesian income determination, right? I think in A level you all learned. I don't know whether you remember or not. Anyhow, we will look that one. Under this chapter, we have to concentrate consumption function, investment and saving function, government activity and fiscal policy. That means how government activities as well as the fiscal policies, saving, investment, everything impact the national income accounting or determine the national income. And the next one is the alternative theories of consumption function under the consumption theories. Here we have to look the absolute income hypothesis, relative income hypothesis, theory of life cycle hypothesis, and the permanent income hypothesis. Only under this about these or 3 or 4 will be considered for our study purposes. And the chapter 7 is the theory of investment. Under the theory of investment also we have to look into what is investment, what are the different types of investment, and what are the determinants of investment. Also here the accelerated theory of Keynes, how that accelerated theory is explained by the Keynes also we have to look. And chapter 8, under the chapter 8, we have chapter 8 is money and banking. Under the money and banking, here we have to look money also very vast area. Under that money, we have to look what is money, what are the different types of money, what are the importance of money, what are the various kinds of theories about the money. Those things we have to look. Then demand for money. Demand for money also, that's a vast area. Under this demand for money also, we can divide it into 3 classical, Keynesian, and modern. Here we only concentrate classical as well as the Keynesian theory approaches. Under the classical theory, here we have to more concentrate on Fisheries equation. And under the Keynesian one, there are 3 motives: transactional motive, speculative, as well as the precautionary motive. Each and every motives or approaches should be deeply learned by us or teach by me. And the next one is the supply of money. Supply of money also very vast, big area. Here also we have to concentrate what is supply of money, what are the various kinds of supply of money in Sri Lanka as well as the other countries, and the determinants of money supply and money creation also we have to look into here. And next one is the commercial banking. Commercial banking also very big area. Under this commercial bank, here we have to look into what is commercial bank, what are the functions of commercial bank, and the here functions also we can divide primary function as well as the secondary function. Here under the primary function money and banking chapter. And hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Sometimes there may be, this is the online mode, no? There may be some internet interruption. Once there is no sound, I will be the pure monetary theory, monetary or investment theory, Keynesian theory, some Wilson model of multiplier interaction as well as the Kicks theories, right? We have to, if we have, and chapter 10 is the macroeconomic policies. Under the macroeconomic policies, here we have to concentrate more on fiscal policy and debt, right? And this is somewhat your assignment also. And finally, we have to discuss about the economic growth. Under the economic growth, also there are so many economic growths. Here we concentrate just what is economic growth, but other determinants of economic growth. Also the Harry-Dome economic growth we have to concentrate here. And for that study purposes, you can refer these books, Wise Macroeconomic Theory, Balanced Macroeconomic Theory, Don Bush Macroeconomics, Edward Shapiro Macroeconomic Analysis, Proving Principle of Macroeconomics, and Ahuja Macroeconomic Theory and Policies. For further studies, you can refer these books and develop your macroeconomic knowledge as well, right? Is it okay? Hey, I'm Tara. கட் ஆகிக்கிட்டே இது சரி வந்த அதுக்கப்புறம் நிறுத்தினேன் சொல்லுங்க அங்க வாருங்க சரி ரைட் hello hello can you hear me hello
Yes, ma'am.
yes now we will move to chapter 1 our chapter 1 is introduction to macroeconomics right under these macroeconomics here we are going to discuss about under this title. The first one is the classification of economics, then differences between microeconomics and macroeconomics. And the third one is the goals of macroeconomic policy and the foundation of macroeconomics, macroeconomic concerns, macroeconomic policy, the theoretical and practical importance of macroeconomics. Right? Those are the things we have to look into this chapter. And also these are the learning outcomes. That means once you completed this chapter, you can able to differentiate between microeconomics and macroeconomics, explain the classification of economics, analyze the goals of macroeconomic policy, understand the foundation of macroeconomics, explain the macroeconomic concerns, list out the macroeconomic policy, explain the theoretical and practical importance of macroeconomics, right? Still, your seniors' results not released, right? The performance is very poor, right? The main reason, the Zoom lectures, right? I don't know uh, what are you doing while on your Zoom, right? Therefore, to avoid the poor performance, you have to more concentrate on the lectures, right? There are advantages as well as disadvantages of the Zoom lectures. Some of the students are highly performed via Zoom, right? Some of the students, the other way around, right? Once you take positively, you can get more output, right? Never you can't blame others that Zoom lectures, right? Zoom lectures will be a good platform for the good outcome, right? Once you use that in the right way, right? Therefore, you have to very careful that once we completed this chapter, you can able to answer these questions. Otherwise, the learning outcomes are not achieved, I assume. Right? Therefore, this is must. Right? These are the questions also for your exam paper. Right? Once you know the answer for this question, simply you can write the answer as well. Therefore, you have to be very careful based on the questions. The lectures also will. Right. The classification of economics. There are three classifications: positive and normative economics, macroeconomics, as well as the microeconomics. Right? Microeconomics, last year you learned very deeply. Macroeconomics, we are going to learn about positive as well as the normative economics to learn in your A level. If you need further ideas or information or knowledge about the positive and normative economics, I gave the references. Once you go through the references, you can get the clear idea. Anyhow, you have to know that there are three basic important classifications under the economics, right? Right. Now, we will move to the differentiation between microeconomics as well as the macroeconomics under the introduction to macroeconomics, right? Here you know that microeconomics means the behavior of individual consumers, factor owners. Who are the factor owners? Huh? Who are the factor owners? Huh? Who are the factor owners? Hmm? Who are the factor owners? Households are the factor owners. What are the factors of production? What are the factors of production? You don't know? Huh? What are the factors of production? Capital, labor, land, entrepreneurship are the factors of production. The owners of these factors of production are the households, right? And individual industries and markets. Here we consider these things, economics, in the small, right? Only individual industries, only household sector, or the owners of the factors, or individual customers. These sectors, right? Behaviors is analyzed by the microeconomics. Or also, we can further elaborate the determination of equilibrium output and price for a single firm. Right, in your first year, you learn, right, the determination of price and quantity of a product market. That is the individual industry or individual customer or individual firm's behavior, where the demand curve and the supply curve intercept, there the price and quantity will be determined. That behavior is analyzed by the microeconomics, a very small portion. Also, microeconomic theory explains how prices of products and factors are determined and how resources are allocated between various products, right? Based on the market equilibrium. That means that based on the determination of the price and quantity, the resources allocated or resources or factors are allocated between the product. For an example, once there is higher demand for the rice, the more resources allocated towards the rice, right? And on other hand, if there is higher prices for the industrial commodities, the resources will be allocated towards the industrial goods, right? Therefore, the microeconomics theory based on the individual one, also this microeconomics determine the allocation of the resources among various amount of the commodity, right? And in microeconomic theory, it is assumed that full employment of resources. What is full employment? What is full employment? What is full employment? Available resources in an economy are fully utilized. There is single unemployed resources. Right? Here, the microeconomic theory also concentrate the full employment of the allocation, full employment of usage of the resources. That means, you know that in an economy, there is capital, labor, as well as the entrepreneurships are available. Those factors of production are fully utilized. There is no single unemployment. Also, this microeconomics analyzes how they are allocated among different products. Also explain whether resources allocated achieving economic efficient. Right? What is economic efficient? Optimum utilization. For an example, say you have 10 rupee or 1,000 rupee. Right? The 1,000 rupee is or 1,000 rupees should be utilized the maximum 1,000. That means the marginal utility is equal to the price. That is the economic efficient. This also analyzed by the macroeconomics, right? And on the other hand, macroeconomics often reflect on the microeconomic principle underlying macroeconomic analysis or the microeconomic foundations of the macroeconomics. Anyhow, the microeconomics is basis for the macroeconomics. Macroeconomics also basis for the microeconomics. This, microeconomics as well as the macroeconomics are the interrelated parts. Once the microeconomics well developed, that leads to the macroeconomics, right? On the other hand, once the macroeconomics well developed, that leads to the microeconomics. You can understand, right? And macroeconomics deal with the economy as a whole, right? Once we look at the microeconomics only concentrate the behavior of the individual, right? Individual firms, individual market, or factors of production, factor owners, or the householders. But macroeconomics deal with economy as a whole or aggregate behavior of the economy, right? That means it's examine the behavior of economic aggregate, such as the analyze total output rather than a single output or single market output or single individual output. Employment, the economy's employment, total consumption, not the individual consumption, right? Total investment, total saving, and national product, not the individual product. for the national income of the economy and the general price level rather than the one commodity price. It more concentrate on the general price level. Therefore, the macroeconomy analyzes or deal with the economy as a whole, right? Therefore, the macroeconomic analysis is called aggregate. And also, it is explained how the productive capacity and national income of the country increases over time in the long run. Once the country concentrate these aggregate output, aggregate employment, total consumption, investment, saving, that uh, causes for the productive capacity. Also, that productive capacity determine the national income of the country in the long run aspect. Right. Again, we can differentiate the microeconomics as well as the macroeconomic. Here, the microeconomic theory employs the technique of partial equilibrium, right? Not the general equilibrium. Here, the microeconomics explain the partial equilibrium analysis. Here, the prices and output determine of a single commodity or service in any market situation. That's already we explained. In a single market situation, demand and supply curve are intercept and determine the price as well as the output of the commodity. That is the partial equilibrium that is explained by the macroeconomic theory. And the macroeconomic theory employs the technique of general equilibrium analysis rather than the partial. Here, this macroeconomic analyzes the general price level, money supply, total employment, and output level fluctuation in aggregate magnitudes rather than the market individual market situation. Here, the aggregate level, these are determined. Therefore, this is called the general equilibrium analysis as well. The general equilibrium analysis is explained by the macroeconomics also. Here, microeconomics deal with the behavior of individual entities like individuals, market, firms, household, etc. So it looks into the micro aspect of the economy. Again, micro aspect, the small portion of the economy, whereas macroeconomics studies the broad aspect of the economy and studies the behavior of an economy as a whole, right? So these are the differentiation between microeconomics as well as the macroeconomics. I think you are very clear with the what is microeconomics and what is macroeconomics, right? And the next one is the goals of macroeconomic policy. What are the goals of macroeconomic policy? You are in the subject of macroeconomics. You have to know everything about the macroeconomics, right? Here, employment. Employment is very important policy of macroeconomics. Right? If there is employment, the productivity or production will be increased. There is no unemployment. Once there is employment, it leads to the higher productivity. Once there is higher productivity, it causes to economic growth. On the other hand, it causes to increase the standard of living of the people. Right? You know that everything was positively, the country moved towards the economic development. Right? On the other hand, if there is no employment, what happened? What happened? If there is no employment, what happened? Huh? You have to talk. Huh? What happened? Hmm? What happened? 100, no, 97? 97? Huh? If there is no employment, what happened? 97? Right there. Huh? Right there. Huh? 48? Hmm?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Even though the country faces the economic crisis, to improve the standard of living of the people, there are some assistance providing by the government. Right. Therefore, that is also under the macroeconomic. Refund? Right there. Refund? Refund is not there, no? Huh? Refund?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are there, no?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yes, what
Yes,
is
ma'am.
price stability? What is price stability? Do you have any plan to have the physical lectures?
Yes, ma'am.
Your batch? Did you take any initiation to have that
Yes,
one?
yes, ma'am.
What? What initiation?
I was told
May I know?
to Dean. We we want physical lectures. We don't have a exact coverage for Zoom lectures. Everyone don't have a coverage, ma'am, sir. Sir, I told Miss, ma'am, sir, to you.
What is his response?
Uh,
What is his response?
Sir responses.
Sorry?
I
What did he say?
Sir said, ma'am, I have a Senate meeting after I tell you, sir said.
I think after completing your sessions, the Senate will be held. Are you okay? It is better to write a letter, get the concern of the main problem is the accommodation.
I
Accommodation. Once you ask the accommodation, there is no possibility to accommodate you all in a hostel. Once you are okay to find your own accommodation,
I already gave to the letter, ma'am.
isn't it? With your colleague's signature.
No, I don't put the signature, but I type the letter.
No. If they don't, no. Once you get the signature from your colleagues, that is very strong.
Okay.
Everyone will ask.
Okay.
All students are okay. Agreed this agreement. Did they place their signature? These are some of the questions will arise.
Okay.
Right? Therefore, it is better to get the signature, draft a letter and get the signature from your colleagues, right? And
Yes, ma'am.
produce to the team. Right? It's better, right? Rather than here, I'm asking the question. Not here. I think just you escape, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This is normally happening because of this progress, because of this, your performance are very low. Very very, very low. Right? Once you are in class, what happened? There are some other reasons also, I agree, but you can concentrate now, concentrate the lectures now. Therefore, my personal idea is to get to request the physical lectures. I think almost 3 weeks completed. Right? Once we complete this week, 3 weeks before your lectures was started. No? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. How many students in your class?
294 students, ma'am.
In your batch, how many? 294. Here, listening participants are only 162. Right? 162. Where are others?
62.
More than 100, no? More than
Yes,
100. 162 are available. I don't know. I don't know how many of them are attended in the before.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So please try. Right. What is price stability? Price stability means there is no price fluctuations. Right. That means no inflation or deflation. Right. Once there is inflation, what happened? That directly impact everything. Right. Therefore, the government the government should be under the macroeconomic policy, the price stability or the price will be stable. Right. Once there is unstable, there is some other impact. Investors don't like to invest in Sri Lanka. There is a balance of payment deficit. Right. The poor people will affect. The permanent income people also will affect. There are so many problems arise because of the instability of the prices. Therefore, the government try to stable the prices under the macroeconomic policies. And the next one is the reduction of economic inequality. Right? What is inequality? Not equal. Right? High deviation between rich and poor. Imagine rich people are always rich. Poor people are always, yes, rich people are always rich, poor people are always. There's a huge deviation. The deviation should be minimized or reduced. Then only the country moves towards the economic growth, right? And rapid economic growth. Every country are trying to increase its wealth. Right? That means that economic growth is the main concern. Once the country or once the government reduce the unemployment, improve the standard of living, maintain the price stability, they can move towards the rapid economic growth. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Nowadays, you can experience throughout our country that all the people are suffering because of this instability of macroeconomic policies and the steady foreign exchange position. The steady foreign exchange position also very important. Right? Import, export, standard of living of the people, reserves, right? Debt, everything. Therefore, the government, the economy maintain the macroeconomic policies as well. Right? And the next one is these are the macroeconomic policies as well. Right. The next one is the foundation of macroeconomics.
Beginning in late 1929,
Beginning in late 19. Who is shouting? Huh? 102? Right. Wait just a minute. I'm moving to the coverage area. Wait just a minute. 5 minutes wait. Right. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Huh? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now I think the internet, there's no interruption, I think. Right. Right. Now we are in the foundation of the macroeconomics. That means here we are going to discuss about that, how this macroeconomics started, right? Beginning in late 1929, that is around 1930s, there was a great depreciation, right? Like experience now. During that time, capitalist economics of the world, not the single country, the world, experienced a severe depression, which created a lot of involuntary unemployment. What's involuntary unemployment? The people are forced to unemployed, right? And also sharp fall in their GDP. Once there is unemployment, what happened? The production will be reduced, right? Therefore, the total product also reduced. So during that time, that is around 1930s, right? There is huge unemployment. involuntary unemployment. That huge involuntary unemployment lead to reduction in their GDP. Right? You can also understand during the COVID as well as the economic crisis, most probably last year, most of the bakeries are closed because of the raw material. Right? The bakery employees are unemployed. The bakery products are reduced. Likewise, this is very simple one, but in 1991 incident was a very huge one, right? This caused by drastic decline in private investment. Right? Once there was sharp fall in the GDP, continuous that one, there is reduction in the private investment. What happened? What happened when the private investment decreased? Huh? What happened? What are the importance of investment? Once there is investment, the production will increase. For an example, the garment industry. Once there is high investment in garments, the garment product will increase. Once the garment product increase, again, we can accommodate more people to produce garment. Right? Once there's no those things, what happen? The production will be reduced. At the same time, the employment also reduced. That means it leads to unemployment. For an example, in United US, in 1929, 1.5 million workers were unemployed. 1.5 million workers. After 4 years, this was increased 13 million, 1.3 to 13 million. So a drastic increase in the unemployment. This means out of 51 labor force, around 25% of unemployment were there. The similar situation prevailed in Britain and other capitalist countries as well. Not only in US, the other countries also experienced the same things, right? Late 1929, that the period was called the Great Depression. A-level economics to learn, right? Great Depression was period of severe economic contractions. That means there is a very low production and high unemployment that began in 1929 and continued throughout the 1930s also. Right, the 1930s is the very important period that country or the world experienced the Great Depression. That means the severe economic contractions as well as the high unemployment rate. The classical economics applied microeconomics models or market clearing models to economy-wide problems. Here, during this period, during the 1930s or late 1929s, the world experienced the severe economic contractions as well as the high unemployment rate. This should be rectified and recovered. Therefore, the classical economics applied the microeconomic models to overcome this problem, right? But simple classical models fail to explain the prolonged existence of high unemployment during the Great Depression. It was very difficult. The economists was faced difficulties to solve these severe economic contractions as well as the high unemployment problem using microeconomic models. Therefore, hello? Right. Therefore, they tried to another way to recover or sort out this problem. This provided the impetus for the development of the macroeconomics. macroeconomics, right? This is the history of the macroeconomics. So, introduction or foundation of the macroeconomics. In 1936, Keynes published his book, that's the general theory of employment, interest and money. Here, Keynes believed governments could intervene in the economy and affect the level of output and employment. There is no private investment because of the private investment. The total production goes down and it would lead to the high unemployment. Therefore, his research, his findings explain, his means the Keynesian findings explain uh, that rather than the private investment, here the government should be intervened to rectify this severe reduction in the GDP as well as the high unemployment rate. Therefore, this period, the low private demand, the government can stimulate aggregate demand to lift the economy out of recession. Therefore, according to his believed research finding, he imposes the government. This is the right time. This should be taken by the government to bring the country or world out of the recession. Right? Therefore, here the government intervene and rectify the problem and reduce the high unemployment and increase or initiate the output, increasing the output rate as well. Right? This is the foundation as well as the history of the macroeconomics. Right? The next one is the macroeconomic concerns. This is also called again macroeconomic objectives. With macroeconomic objectives, also macroeconomic concerns. There are so many concerns, but three of the major concerns. Inflation. What is inflation? Continuous increase in the general price level is the inflation. If there is inflation, there are so many impact. I think if you are in the third year, there is monetary economics. Under the monetary economics, you will be learned inflation very deeply. And output growth, that is GDP, total production, should be increased. Unemployment, minimize the unemployment. If there is unemployment, that's also impact the economy. Right? Therefore, these are the major concerns. With this one, economic growth, balance of payment, always in balance, right? And exchange rate, there's no flexibility in the exchange rate. And once there is flexibility in the exchange rate, that also affect the economy as a whole. Therefore, the government take initiation to control these things by the macroeconomic policies, right? Here also you have to concentrate that there are so many macroeconomic concerns as well as the objectives, but these three are very important. Full employment, you can add the unemployment or full employment, but you have to explain whatever you put. You have to explain. For an example, if there is any questions that briefly explain the macroeconomic, the major concerns of macroeconomics or major objectives of macroeconomics. Based on the marks, you have to explain each and every one, right? Also, one more thing I have to explain. You have you completed your A level as well. Also, first year as well as the first year, first semester, as well as the first year, second semester. Also, you have the past history explained, right? That the students are not concentrate the marks. Not concentrate the marks. Just they write whatever they know. Right? Some questions papers are some answer book has the questions again and again and again. The one page they write them. For an example, there's a question: briefly explain the major concerns of macroeconomics. That's a question. They write the question again and again. That whole pages. Once you see the paper, the paper has the letters or sentence or something, but nothing is there, right? How can we put the marks? I think sometimes your colleagues are trying to check the star, isn't it? That is the one thing. The second thing is you have to write the correct answer. For an example, briefly explain the major concerns of macroeconomics. There is a question. The marks is given, say 3. Once there is 3, you can list out these 3 and just describe what is inflation and what is output growth and what is unemployment. Otherwise, you will lose the marks. Right? Once you just write inflation, output growth, and unemployment. Right? If there is 6 marks for the same questions, right, you have to elaborate further. What is inflation? You have to list out this inflation, output growth, unemployment, and you have to further elaborate what is inflation, and also what are the impact of inflation in an economy. Those things. Once you write the answer in this way, you can get the 4 marks. That is 6 marks for that question. Otherwise, you will lose the marks. Right? And the another observation of your I was not the teacher for previous lectures now. My past experience, the students, what do they that first question has 3 or 4 sub questions, isn't it? They write the one in one page and the first question one page, for the answer, half of answer in the first page and the other half of answer in third page, and third question will go the next page like that. Right? How can we put the marks for this question? Therefore, you have to be very careful once to write the answer as well. Right? These are some of the advices. Right? Advices. Right, inflation and deflation. Inflation is an increase in the overall price level that we are experiencing. Right? Though there is some reduction in the goods. For an example, gas. The gas prices are reduced. Some of the red dots, right? Prices are reduced. But the other way around, if it is increased, that is we call inflation. If it is decreased, that is we call deflation. Hyperinflation. What is hyperinflation? It's a period of very rapid increase in the overall price level. Right? Before this reduction, right? Normally, 2020, we bought, I think, 130 rupees per litre petrol. Am I correct? Huh? Am I correct? Huh? Hello? Am I correct? In 2020, how much the petrol per litre? Huh? From 180? From 180? Hello? Huh? Anybody? Huh? MS 59? MS 59? 93? Huh? Very bad. Hmm? Yes. Your batch also micro. Commerce is no, you not your one. Just to complete it yourself, no? Right. The hyperinflation means the price levels are increased very rapidly. We also had some experience in 2020. The price of petrol per litre is 130 rupees. Now, how much? 340 rupees. 95. 95, 300 sorry, 92, no? 340 rupees. So the price is rapidly increased. That is called hyperinflation. Hyperinflations are rare, but have been used to study the cost and consequences of even moderate inflation. Rare. The hyperinflations are rare, but we experienced right after a long time. The next one is the deflation. Deflation is an increase in the overall price level, right? This is the other way around of the inflation. Prolonged period of deflation can be just as damaging for the economy as sustained inflation. This deflation or inflation is not good for the healthy economy. Therefore, under the macroeconomic policy, there is the price stability, right? Without inflation or deflation, the price should be stable for the healthy economy, right? Therefore, it is very important under the macro. The second one is the output growth, right? Under the macroeconomic, major macroeconomic principles. The second one is the output growth. This output growth also we can look into the short run as well as the long run, right? Normally, this output growth also we can for the business cycle, uh, not call the business cycle. This output growth reflect the business cycle as well. The business cycle is a cycle of short-term ups and downs in the economy, right? Before COVID-19, right, we have some improvement in our GDP or output growth. After the COVID as well as the economic crisis, our growth, output growth comes down or goes down. The main measure of how an economy is doing is aggregate output. Right? The aggregate output is the total quantity of goods and services produced in an economy in a given period. Again, this is also called GDP, gross domestic product. Right? That much, how much of the product the country or the economy can produce in a given period of time is the aggregate demand. If there is fluctuation in that aggregate demand, that is we call business cycle. That is we call business cycle. Also, this business cycle reflects the output fluctuation or status of the output, whether it is increase or decrease, or if this goes up or comes down. Also, this business cycle express the uh, phases as well, right? Normally, the business cycle has four phases. That the recession, thought, boom, and recovery, right? The recession is a period during which aggregate output declines. Again, we are in the phase of declining our output. Two consecutive quarters of decrease in output signal a recession, right? The signal for the recession means the output goes down for the two consecutive quarters continuously. Once it goes continuously, it is identified as the recession. A prolonged and a deep recession becomes a depression. Right? The recession, once the recession continues for the third quarter, that causes for again depression. That means that that the output growth goes down. The size of the output growth is higher than the recession. Depression is higher than the recession, right? And the policymakers attempt not only to smooth fluctuation in output during the business cycle, but also to increase the growth rate of output in the long run. So, the policymakers or economists, right, make necessary arrangement to recover this business cycle in the long run. Once we leave as it is, what happened? It was in the country. Again, we are experiencing the severe economic crisis. We are experiencing that one. Right? Our political leaders, not I'm saying the economic, intellectuals are explain political leaders are not take the correct decision in the right time. Because of that, we are facing this much of economic crisis. Right? We borrow more money from other countries, but those money are not utilized for the productive purposes. Only they produced capital purposes. Therefore, the debt accumulated. Accumulated. We don't have enough money to repay the debt. Also, we don't have enough money to manage our day-to-day life. Therefore, we are struggling. That struggle is called economic crisis, right? Then the unemployment. The unemployment rate is the percentage of the labor force that is unemployed. That means unemployment. What is unemployment? The people are willing and qualified for the work, but there is no employment opportunity. Still, they are seeking the jobs or employment opportunities. That is, we call the unemployment. The unemployment rate is a key indicator of the economy's health. If there is higher unemployment, what happens? Let's move towards the recession. That means if there is unemployment, there is high unemployment, there is low productivity. GDP is very low. Standard of living goes down. Economic growth also moving down. The existence of unemployment seems to imply that the aggregate labor market is not in equilibrium. Right? The labor market equilibrium means the labor supply is equal to labor demand. Once labor market equilibrium, labor demand is equal to labor supply, there is labor market is in equilibrium. There is no unemployment. The wages are just reasonable. But if there is no labor market is in equilibrium, that means not equilibrium means sometimes labor supply is higher than the labor demand, or sometimes labor demand is higher than the labor supply. Right? The two positions, high labor demand and high labor supply, causes for the inequilibrium of the labor market. Inequilibrium of the labor market also the indicator for the economy's health, economic health. Therefore, under the macroeconomic concerns, macroeconomic policy makers more concentrate to reduce the unemployment of the country and well-being of the country. Right. Macroeconomic policy. Next one is the macroeconomic policies. There are three kinds of policy that the government has used to influence the macroeconomy. There are macroeconomic objectives, goals are there. To achieve that goals and objectives, there are some policies. Right? Here, commonly we can categorize these policies into two. The first one is one is fiscal policy. The fiscal policy refers to government policies concerning taxes and spending. Right? Nowadays, we are experiencing huge economic or severe economic crisis. Right? That means higher inflation, high interest rate. There are so many problems we are facing. We don't have enough raw materials to produce goods and services. Huge. Therefore, the government should be take necessary arrangements to control this situation. This fiscal policy implement the taxes as well as the government spending, adjust the taxes as well as the government spending. Therefore, you all aware that last 6 weeks, the university lecturers were. What is the reason? Anybody? What's the reason? Last 6 weeks, isn't it? Last 6 weeks, you were at home without any lectures. What is the reason? What's the reason? Because of the university staff strike. Why they went on strike? Because of the progressive tax. Progressive tax. What is the reason for the progressive tax? The government suffer a lot to adjust to run the economy. Therefore, one of the way to minimize that suffering by imposing taxes. Therefore, the government impose the tax. Also, the government should reduce its spending. Right? But now, presently also, the government spending somewhat because the poor people inequality is very high in Sri Lanka. Therefore, to manage, to reduce, to adjust, to assist the low income people, they are providing some spending. Right? If there is a problem in the macroeconomic policies based on the policy implementation, the government can revise the taxes as well as the government spending. However, this implementation of the taxes as well as the spending implemented by the government, it is called the fiscal policy as well. Right? And the second one is the monetary policy. Here, the monetary policy is also the macroeconomic policy that is implemented by the central bank. Right? central bank has tools, that is the normally central bank has two type of tools, quantitative as well as the qualitative. It's also called traditional method as well as the modern methods. Under this quantitative method, there are three major components: interest rate, open market operation, as well as the bank rate. Here also you can observe nowadays owning fixed deposits and personal loans. For everything, the interest rate is increased. That's the reason. There's high inflation. To control the high inflation, the central bank imposed the or introduced the high interest rate for. Right? What happened? What is the next once the interest rate increased? Rational consumers. What happened? Once the interest rate increases, they deposit their money in banks. Once they deposit their money, their consumption will reduce. Once they have enough money, they can make demand. They can demand more. Once there is more demand, what happens? The price will be go up. Therefore, this is one of the strategy. On the other hand, once the interest rate increased, what happened? The rational investors don't like to get money from bank and for investment purposes. So money creation also decreases. In this way, the central bank control the macroeconomics objectives by applying the monetary policy. Likewise, the open market operation. Open market operation means the central bank, once the central bank feels the country experiencing or the country has more circulation of money, the central bank printed the certificate, that is we call open market of shares and securities. They sell the share and securities to the public. The rational public, what to do? They purchase the certificate and shares from central bank and pay money. What happened then? The money that public hold goes to the central bank. The papers from central bank come to the public. So they don't have enough money for the spending purposes. Therefore, the demand will be reduced. Once the central bank feel the money supply is low, they buy the certificate and shares from the public. Then public papers go to the central bank. The money will come to the public. Therefore, the money supply will increase. Right? Also, another tool for under the quantitative method is bank rate. Here, once we deposit the money in commercial bank keep 1%. The central bank asks the commercial bank to keep some percentage of money in the central bank. What is the purpose? Once commercial bank face difficulties, that money can be utilized by the central bank reserve. Likewise, once the central bank increase the reserve from the commercial bank, the circulation money or excess money will be reduced. Once the excess money will reduce, what happened? The circulation money or loanable amount will be reduced. So the money creation will be reduced. In these strategies, tools used to control the quantity of money in an economy by the central bank under the monetary policy. And also, you know that the 5.3 million or trillion money was printed by the central bank uh, uh, during last year for the various purposes. Because of that, the money circulation money was increased in this country. To control the central bank implement the high interest rate to control the inflation. Right. So in this way also the macroeconomic policy will be controlled. The third one or next one is the growth or supply side policies. Here, the government policies, the supply side policies mean here what is the main reason for the inflation, right? And you have to understand that what is inflation. Inflation means the increasing the general price, continuously increasing the general price level. What is the reason for increasing the general price level continuously? There is no mismatch between demand and supply of the commodity. Once there is higher demand rather than the supply, it causes to increase the prices. You know, here Sri Lankan central bank issued more money. People has more money, but there is no enough commodities. So they try to buy the goods for the try to buy. Therefore, they increase the prices. That is again causes for inflation, right? To reduce that inflation, to try to stable the prices of the commodities. Here, supply side policy. Supply should be increased. Right? Once there is 8 demand, once there is 8 people equal, there is no chances for increase or decrease the prices. Therefore, based on the supply side growth, it should be stimulated, right? So these are the policies to uh, adjust or stable the prices. The policies are same, but the implementing partners are different. They all are try to stable the price level. And the last one is the theoretical and practical importance of macroeconomics. That means why we have to learn this macroeconomics. What are the importance of this macroeconomics? Like we are learning macroeconomics, why we have to learn? It is helpful in understanding the functioning of macroeconomic system. Now you can understand that what is the main reason for the macroeconomics, what is the foundation of the macroeconomics, how these macroeconomic policies are adjusted, and what are the macroeconomic policies. These things we have to understand. To understand this macroeconomics is very important. And explain the factors which determine the level of national income and employment in an economy. Right? These things we have to learn. How these national income and employment are determined using the factors of production. Those things we can understand once we learn these macroeconomics. And it explains the circular flow of national income in an economy. Our next one is the income circular flow diagram. To understand the income circular flow diagram, it should be important. It explains the problem of unemployment, which is a main problem in developing countries. Right? Unemployment. Already we learned something. If there is employment, what happened? What happened? Stealing, prostitution, right? Unwanted social activities will be increased, right, because of the unemployment. So this type of problem should be explained by the macroeconomics. Therefore, we have to learn. Macroeconomics explain the various aspects of international trade, such as terms of trade, balance of payment, foreign exchange rate, etc. Right here, balance of payment we don't have in the US chapters. Foreign exchange rate also we don't have. Right, international rate also we don't have. But macroeconomics are explain these things. Once we have to understand these things, macroeconomics is must. And the macroeconomics studies causes fluctuation in the business cycles and the formulate policies to control inflation and that things we learn. Like what's business cycle? What are the importance of business cycle? Also, how can we mitigate this inflation and increase the output growth? Those things are explained by the macro. Right? Thank you very much for your patience. Right? Those things we learn. Again, I can summarize today's lectures. Today we learn about that what is macroeconomics, what are the differences or major branches of the macroeconomics. The second things we discuss about the differences between microeconomics and macroeconomics. The next one is the macroeconomic policy. Then we learn about the macroeconomic concerns, and also we learn about macroeconomic foundation, how it is started, what was the history of the macroeconomics, and we discuss about the major macroeconomic concern or major macroeconomic objectives. Under those things, we especially concentrate employment, output growth, and price stability. Those things we deeply we learn about. And we discuss about the macroeconomic policy implementation. Right? Once there is unstable in an economy, it should be rectified. That is good for the healthy of the economy. Therefore, the various partners of the economy implement some of the policy, especially fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is implemented by the government by imposing taxes and spending government expenses. And the central bank implementing its monetary policy by implementing the monetary tools as quantitative as well as the qualitative. Also, the supply side policy is also there. Once there is deviation between demand and supply, that causes to the instability of the prices. Therefore, to stable the prices, the supply side policy must be important. Finally, we discuss the theoretical and practical importance of the macroeconomics. There are so many importance of macroeconomics. We learn everyone very clearly. Isn't it? Am I correct? Next class, one from commerce and one from management. You have to summarize the today's lectures. Okay? Okay? Shall we finish? Huh? Right. Okay, we will meet on Thursday, 8:30. Before that, I will rectify my LMS and I uploaded the link in LMS, also this first chapter. If there is no, or if there is problem, you have to check with your rep. I am not the responsible. I'll send the link to your rep. Or if there is okay with my LMS, I'll upload it the LMS.